Alright, so video number 3 in the Skyline. This thing broke down. Not necessarily on me, but someone else was trying to take it out for a spin, and they said they started it and it just died on them. So I'm trying to figure out what happened, because it'll start but it won't idle, it won't stay on basically. So I'm gonna start with the basic. I'm gonna clean out the mass airflow sensor. I'm thinking it's actually gonna be like a fuel problem. I've been reading on the forums and whatnot. Most of the time the symptoms that I'm having, you know, a couple other people had similar stuff, and it was usually like something to do with fuel. So I'm gonna start by cleaning the mass airflow sensor, even though it looks pretty good. It doesn't look like it's crazy dirty or anything, but I'm still gonna clean it just to be sure. And then I'm gonna start checking all the fuses. I'm gonna start with the basics. So I'm gonna check all the fuses. Maybe there's a fuse to the fuel pump, you know, that's not working like it should, because it sounds like it comes on, but the fuel pump's in the back. So when I turn the key or whatever, I can hear it on, but I don't know if it stays on. You know, like I can hear it come on, but I don't know if it stays on the whole time. So the car cranks, starts, and then it dies right away. So I'm gonna start with the basics, and let's see if we can get this thing running within the next couple of days, hopefully. Alright, so checked all the fuses. All the fuses are good. There was a couple that were bad. I replaced them. It didn't do anything. So we took out the fuel filter. It was really filthy. There was a lot of like corrosion in it. So when Caesar's actually out there getting one right now, but I'm kind of thinking it's a mix of like the fuel filter was clogged and the fuel pump not working correctly. So we're gonna try the filter, and then we're gonna go from there, because the fuel pump seems to like come on and then it clicks right off. So I don't know if that's normal. Obviously I've never owned a Skyline before, but I feel like the pump should stay on the whole time. Like it shouldn't click right off, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's going off, like it stays on for a second, it builds pressure enough to start the car, and then it dies right away. So I feel like the car obviously doesn't get the pressure it needs for the fuel. So like I said, yeah, Caesar's out there getting a fuel filter right now, and we're gonna try a couple other things once we get the fuel filter, and we'll go from there. We'll see what it does. We'll figure this thing out. Might take some time, but we'll figure it out. Alright, so we got a new filter on there, but still no luck. It seemed to want to stay on longer than before, so I'm kind of still leaning towards it's a fuel problem. Like either the fuel pump is not working correctly, so it's not getting enough pressure, or something else fuel related. I am replacing their spark plugs, so I got them out here, and yeah, it's definitely time for new spark plugs. I honestly don't think the spark plugs are the reason it's not starting correctly or not staying on. I mean, if they are, awesome, but I still have a feeling it might be fuel related. But I'm obviously going to change their spark plugs just because it's just part of normal maintenance, you know, when you buy a new vehicle or a new vehicle to you. So I'm gonna go to the store real quick. I'm gonna get some new spark plugs, put them on, give it another try. Like I said, I doubt that the spark plugs are the reason the car's not staying on, but at least I'll know, you know, those spark plugs are new and that's not the problem. So after fuel filter, new spark plugs, the car's still doing the same thing. So once again, I'm thinking it's just the fuel pump. I'm gonna start looking for a fuel pump. That's all it does. So yeah, I'm gonna start looking for a fuel pump and go from there, so I'm pretty sure it's the fuel. Alright, so it's day 3 of trying to get this thing running. So after taking out the fuel pump and going to the store, none of the local stores had it, so I had to order it online. And let's show you what it looks like. So obviously that's the new one. It looks pretty much the same. Even the connection is the same. Like I was gonna rewire it, but I think I'm gonna use that same connection. Here's the other little pieces that come with it. There was a couple people that recommended that fuel pump, so we'll see. As you can see, this one's really bad. Yeah, it's definitely time for a new one. That's how all this was too. I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. So everything else should be good, I'm hoping. So I'm about to put it together and give it a try. But I'm pretty sure that should solve the issue. We'll find out. Alright, so the new fuel pump is hooked up. New hose right there, new hose right there. The wiring I'm going to use the same because it plugs, the plug is the same. I'm going to keep the other one obviously just in case I have problems with it. So I'm about to put it in there and give it a try. Hopefully this is the problem. Well, that didn't do anything. It's still doing the same thing. So now I'm thinking, what if there's an electrical problem to the fuel pump? So I'm going to try and figure that out. So after checking all the basics like the fuel pump, fuel filter, spark plugs and all that, the car was still not running. So we moved on to testing some stuff. I had a friend come over and he checked my connections for the injectors, and he realized that there was no pulse or power, whatever they call it. I think they call it pulse. So anyways, after that I went and I borrowed an ECU from a stock ECU, because this one is an aftermarket one, and then the car started right up. So my ECU went bad, so I went and bought a new one. I bought a Haltech plug and play, I think is what it's called. So that's the wiring, and that's the Haltech itself in there. Let's see, comes with a fancy little sticker and everything. So the next step now is finding someone that can tune it, someone that's familiar with the RB engines, and someone that's familiar with the Haltech. So yeah, that's the next step on this thing. It's been a while. This car's been sitting for a while, but I'm not in a hurry to get it done. Like I don't have a deadline. So, you know, like anything, there's other expenses in life. You can't just be dumping all your money into your cars. So some things have to wait sometimes. So yeah, at least I know what it is and I know the solution to it.